This is the MAEN Manhattan 39 Ultra Thin, and it's not only a novelty, but also one of the slimmest watches I have worn in a while. So in this video, I will be showing you the Manhattan 39's 5 most important features and will answer all of your questions you might have about this watch, like how does its thinness affect its wearability? What about, MAEN in general? Are they good watches? And what wrist size is best suited for this watch? So all of these questions and many more will be answered in this video, so you will know exactly whether or not this is going to be your next watch. And at the end, I will also give you my likes and dislikes about this watch. So let's get started. A short disclaimer, MAEN has sent me the watch beforehand to wear and to test it. And because I like the watch, I decided to collaborate with MAEN and help them promote the watch. So this is a sponsored video. But as always, all my opinions in this video are still my own, and MAEN did not get the script or the video beforehand and was also not allowed to give us any requirements for the content. So with that being said, let's get into the review. Okay, so first we are going to start out with the hard facts here. That way we know exactly what we are dealing with here, and then we will work our way into the details of this watch. As the name already gives it away, this one is a really thin watch. It sports a diameter of 39mm, a lug-to-lug of 47.8, and has a height of only 6.9mm. The entire case and bracelet are made of 316L steel, so that's the same type of alloy used in Tudor watches, for example, and the crystal on both the top and the bottom is made from sapphire in an anti-reflective coating. It only weighs about 121 grams, and you can open and close the bracelet with this butterfly clasp and it's 2 pushers on the side. There is no quick adjustment, but luckily you got the links with screws to adjust the bracelet, so no pin pushes here. The case itself is water resistant up to 10 ATM, so that's 100 meter, and is also equipped with a hand wound ETA 7001 movement, which I will go into more detail in a bit because there's something we need to talk about here. But before that, let's continue with one of the most pressing questions, and that is about its wearability. How does it wear and which wrist size is best suited for this watch? Well, given the stats only, this would not technically qualify to be approved for the ATP wrist committee, but luckily what we have here are really nicely curved down lugs. So as you can see, even smaller wrists like mine with a circumference of about 155mm right now can get away with it. Plus you also have the added bonus of its thinness, which also helps a lot. If this case was any thicker, it would stick out too much on small wrists, making it not only more uncomfortable, but also more prone to scratching. So yeah, really happy here that the 39mm diameter works out for me. Therefore, anyone with bigger wrists than that should have no problem at all. But I would not necessarily recommend this one for people with smaller wrists than that. In that case, you should really opt for the 37mm version of this watch. Like I have mentioned, there's no quick adjustment, but the links aren't too long, so you should easily be able, to find a good fit here still. All right, let's continue with talking a little bit more about the elephant in the room. I am sure some of you were already, pulling up the comparisons as soon as I've, shown this watch. And I have to agree, at first glance, we do see a lot of familiar design cues here. The bezel itself is octagonal and mixes both polished and brushed finishings. The same design continues onto the rest of the case with the satin-like finish on the flanks. The integrated bracelet that connects to the case is brushed entirely, except for its outer edge, so you get a little bit of sparkle here there. The dark color I chose is called ice blue, and I mean you can totally see why it's called that. The blue really pops, especially because MAEN chose to do Genevan stripes as a dial finish, so you also get all these different hues of blue depending on how the light hits the dial. I usually do not talk much about the dial colors because oftentimes, they tend to be, rather simple. But, I really want to highlight this here because the effect of the vertical stripes is really special. You sometimes get this really like a matte bluish, almost like a gray color, and then you flip it and then boom, it's like very brightly blue. So yeah, the execution here is really cool, but like I said, the design cues are familiar. This one is heavily inspired by all of those 70s sports watches that have long become cult classics, like the Royal Oak from Audemars Piguet or the 5711. I did ask MAEN about this watch, and they did tell me that the actual inspo was the Vacheron Constantin 2215, which was released before the 5711. A perfect piece of small talk for your next watch meetup right there. So now that we've got the hard facts down and we've talked about the wearability and the design, I know that you want to know if, and I know this might sound, very harsh depending on where you're coming from, if ultimately this watch is any good since, it is, still coming from a micro brand. And let me say this first, in some cases, a bit A healthy, skepticism is warranted when it comes to micro brands these days, because at the end of the day, anyone with an internet connection and, a bit of money can release a watch and, make all these claims online. This is also why I wanted to make sure that I would be able to, really wear and test the watch before talking about it. And yeah, now that I have worn this for like a couple of weeks, I can say this is a good watch. Like, really. It's a good watch. It started with the packaging, which can, sometimes be a bit lacking with smaller watchmakers. But the quality is really good. And you also get your own singular watch roll to store your watch in, which I think is brilliant. I don't know why not more people do that. As I've explained before, the watch itself is really thin, and the benefits here for me are really evident. As an IBWC member, I am always looking for, comfort in bigger watches, and, a small case and lightweight really deliver here. What's also really cool is the fact that this is, a hand-wound watch. Normally, I prefer an automatic one, simply because I oftentimes just, forget to wind it, if I'm being honest here. But, thanks to the handbar movement, they were able to slim it down to those 6.9 millimeter, and an automatic one would have been much chunkier. So I'm actually really happy about this. It's also extremely beautifully decorated, the movement, mirroring the Genevan stripes from the front, and you can feel and, see the attention to detail here, which I really appreciated. So to get back to the initial question, are the watches any good? I can, absolutely say yes, they are. Okay, last but not least, we need to talk about the pricing and the availability. This is sometimes a, hit or miss with smaller watch brands, and it was also something that I myself was a bit unsure about before. So if you're deciding to go for a Manhattan 39 Ultra Thin, it will set you back €1,059, and it will be available from December 21st this year. You can choose between 4 different colors. You've got a dark green, a dark blue, a light gray, and the ice blue that I got for this review. And if you want to buy the Manhattan 39, I recommend to pre-register on their website. I will put the link for you down below in my description box. So you not only get a reminder when it drops on the 21st, but you will also receive a discount code for €40 off. That is valid for the first 150 orders. So, you gotta be quick to get that. Given the price, it sits right there with the Tissot PRXs, for example. And I have to say that the Manhattan can absolutely, keep up here in terms of, quality in regards to the finishing, the movement, and the overall design details. So now that we have talked about its 5 most important features, I quickly want to add my, likes and dislikes to round it all up. So let's start with the dislikes. And I say that about all the other luxury watches too, so I'm not sparing mine here either, but I really wish there was some form of quick adjustment here. It's always a huge benefit to have it, and it would just make the watch even more comfy. Another, but rather minor thing would be the missing second hand. It's not really a big deal. I mean, my birth year Santos doesn't have one either, but yeah, I don't know. I really like a bit of movement on the dial, so yeah, that's that. What I really like about the watch is definitely how thin it is. I was actually surprised how comfortable it turned out to be, because at first I wasn't sure about, it given a 39 diameter, and the overall case size. So you get a super legible large watch face and don't have to make any compromises in terms of comfort when you have a smaller wrist. So that's always a win-win for me. I was also very impressed with the packaging, as I said before. I did also ask about this to make sure that this was the standard packaging and not just, some outlier. But yeah, with every watch, you also get your own single watch roll, which, yeah, it's brilliant. And as I said before, I don't know why not more watch brands do that. It just gets overlooked so often. And that is all I have for you today. The 5 most important things you need to know about the MAEN Manhattan 39 Ultra Thin, so you know whether or not this is going to be your next watch or not. Now you know about its sizing, how comfortable it wears, how the Genevan striping on the dial actually looks like, and the quality of finishing and its pricing. Also, I want to thank MAEN for sending me their watch review, and a big thank you for watching this video until the end. If you have enjoyed this, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more watch-related content like this one, I would, if I were you, subscribe to my channel, and then I will see you in my next video. Bye!